Can you hear me? I unfortunately don't hear anything. Welcome to Community Matters. I'm Brenda Charles Edwards, the host of Community Matters, formerly Seniors Matters, at www.rainier Avenue World. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and the Rainier Avenue Radio app. Our program features interviews with individuals providing essential services and valuable information for our community. In addition to the show, I offer professional services through Black Orchid Notary. If you need financial documents notarized, such as power of attorneys, loan documents, or just require assistance having documents written for clarity or completion, give me a call at 206-683-2636. My guest today is Dr. Janetta Brown. She's the founder and chief executive officer of the HBCU Experience Alzheimer's Research Consortium, known as ARC. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Janetta. How are you? It's great to see you again.
Hi, I'm doing well. Are you able to hear me clearly?
Okay. So I have my volume up as loud as it can go, and I'm not hearing you. So I'm going to see if I can read lips. Okay. So many people know dementia families, but they may not know how it affects you and your story. What inspired you to found ARC, and what gap were you trying to fulfill?
So my journey is deeply personal. I have cared for several family members over the years, over I think more than 15 years. And just watching dementia impact multiple generations of my family. Even now, my father is going through the diagnosis process. And so even before the PhD, before the research and clinical trials, I'd met so many other families that were just like mine, trying to navigate and understand how to care for their loved one the best way possible, how to create those safe spaces so that we are feeling we have that psychological safety to even have the conversations in the first place. But then as I got more immersed in all things dementia, I started asking a different question. Like, so what if we redesign the healthcare system around the caregivers instead of expecting families to navigate a fragmented system? So that's part of the reason I founded the ARC. I wanted to bridge research and education, community partnerships, and culturally responsive support so that Black families aren't just surviving caregiving. We want them to be better equipped, more equipped to thrive through the entire journey.
Okay. So I want to talk to you about the State of Mind Lemonade pop-up project. I found that really interesting, and I'll tell you. I was going to wait to the end of your presentation, but I'm going to tell you why it's so interesting to me. I am going for a procedure on Monday to remove these stones.
Okay.
Yes. One is in my kidney, and it's 5 millimeters. The other one is trying to get out, but it's a 9 millimeter. And I got a tiny stone last week out. And I'd never seen one. I was like, oh, so that's what they look like. Okay. But anyway, go ahead and talk about the purple state of mind lemonade project, and I want to get some of that lemonade too.
Please do come see us. The goal is to have some samples tomorrow at the Urban Resource Fair, but also I'm like, what else do we have coming up. There's a few other opportunities coming up soon. Um, and I know we'll get to it. But so the Lemonade pop-up project, actually, I think I probably came up with it last year. I am co-owner of Lala's Caribbean style lemonade. We are local right here in South Park, in like the South Seattle area. But what I noticed was that one, lemonade is kind of a staple, especially at festivals and fairs and farmers markets. But in certain months like May, June, July, there are different ways to acknowledge and raise awareness around Alzheimer's and dementia. And so I said, what if I feature different flavors within the lemonade as a way to raise awareness and just talk with different families, different customers, and find a fun way to engage the community with learning about these chronic illnesses and all the different comorbidities or other conditions that are related and people might not realize they're related. And so since the color for dementia awareness is purple, I said, well, why don't I think about like different purple flavors or different purple produce that can be added to the lemonade? It is freshly muddled. And so blackberries, blueberries, we have ginger, different herbs, different roots, you name it. There's so many different superfoods that are scientifically proven to improve our brain health and reduce the amyloid plaque buildup in our brains that cause dementia in the first place. And so I figured, hey, let's take this on tour. There are so many different ways to bring this education from the stuffy scientific conferences and journal manuscripts, but make it translatable and localize it here with different families so they can learn more about what we should be eating towards dementia prevention.
Okay. Since I can't hear you very well, did you talk about La Caribbean lemonade? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, where in South Park is it?
Actually, let's see. We work outside of Distinguished Foods Commissary Kitchen. They're in West Seattle. But here we're near like Georgetown, Sodo, south of downtown. But you'll find us at different farmers markets as well. Some of our early clients for the Lemonade pop-up project have been the King County Department of Public Health Black Providers Network, twice actually, Seattle Public Libraries, and now I want to say next week, Seattle Children's Hospital.
Okay. What do you hope people remember after visiting the lemonade stand?
So what I've done is create this really nice exhibit. It's a bunch of posters with beautiful photos of the ingredients that we include in the lemonade. And what we do is highlight all of the medicinal properties, all of the advantages to consuming or eating these foods on a regular basis. So you'll learn, what does ginger have to do with brain health? What do the blackberries, blueberries, dark leafy greens that are always advocated for our overall well-being, what exactly is inside of those that helps our brains, that helps our other organs, and just helps us take charge of our wellness overall. What I do is give a bingo card, and each cell on the card asks questions that you can find the answers on the poster in the exhibit. So it's a way to help retain the information, engage with the information, ask me a ton of questions, and really get to the root of why what we eat can impact our brain health for the better.
So your organization works across research, caregiver support, workforce training, and community outreach. What's the vision that connects all of these initiatives?
The idea is to create a community, or I'd say a statewide infrastructure around dementia care and dementia support, where no caregiver, no family has to navigate dementia alone. The idea is through farmers markets, through workshops, really fun activities, and socially engaging programming, find a way to bring families together and to hear what our doctors might not be telling us, hear what the nurses might not be telling us, fill in those gaps in our understanding and our information so that one, we are empowered to tackle caregiving. I know dementia impacts each person differently. And so we all have to have and find our own strategies. But when we come together and build community, it's a great way to learn the do's and the don'ts and best practices and what worked for one family that might work for you. So yeah, that's the idea, to build an ecosystem around dementia support in ways that you haven't already seen.
So, what is Dominion over Dementia? I know you have an event coming up.
Mm-hmm. I keep that term because I'm very intentional with what I'm teaching and why. Dementia is avoidable. I want to say in the literature, they talk about how 45% of dementia cases worldwide were completely avoidable if we had addressed the risk factors. So risk factors can include high blood pressure, high blood sugar, or diabetes. They've keyed the term that dementia can be considered type 3 diabetes, your quality of sleep, nutrition, right? A vitamin deficiency can mimic dementia symptoms. And so I use the term dominion over dementia because once we understand what causes it and the small lifestyle changes that we can make along the way, we can overcome this condition. We can avoid it altogether and be prepared to care for our loved ones who may already be experiencing those changes. The brain changes that happen internally take place 20 to 40 years before a diagnosis is ever given. And so there's a way to be proactive and get ahead of it long before we're 65 and older. And so Dominion is literally a way that I want to reframe the way we understand dementia and diagnoses. They're not necessarily forever. There are ways to tackle different conditions and chronic illnesses before it develops or before it progresses to impact our brains in a way that is not reversible.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening live to Community Matters with your host, Brenda Charles Edwards, on www.rainieravenueradio.world, your community radio station. You can also listen to us on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, the Rainier Avenue Radio app. Do you know what's the best legacy we can give ourselves and our loved ones? Join me on Zoom for a group or individual session on legacy end-of-life planning. You can reach me at 206-683-2636. Now back to before I go back to my guest, I do have to make an announcement. Today at 3 p.m. Pacific time, celebrate the legacy of former Rainier Avenue Radio host Dedrick Prince with a marathon of his show, Just My Opinion, airing exclusively on Rainier Avenue Radio's auto channel at rainieravenueradio.world. And for those of you that don't know, that Dedrick passed just recently. And also make more community broadcasts like this possible by donating on Venmo at Rainier Avenue Radio or online at rainieravenueradio.world/donate. And we thank you for making community broadcasting possible. So now back to my guest, Dr. Janetta Brown, who is the largest representative community that provides culturally competent dementia care resources. So Dr. Brown, tell us more about the Caregiver Farmers Market, please.
Yes, I have the Dominion Over Dementia Caregiver Farmers Market coming up on Saturday, September 5th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Kent, Washington. I chose Kent to serve as that midpoint as much as possible between Seattle and the cities that are further south. So Kent, Burien, Tacoma, Federal Way. I wanted to choose a location that could kind of bridge that gap between multiple cities where you'll find our community. But yeah, it's not a typical farmer's market. The idea is to, one, highlight nutrition, what we should be eating towards dementia prevention, bring Black farms and farmers together, bring Black clinicians, providers, innovators, business owners together to surround our families with as much support as possible. But it's also designed to start building that statewide infrastructure around dementia support. So I've invited a lot of different organizations from different industries. So you'll see um, finance, law, tech, agriculture, wellness, medicine and healthcare, public health. We'll have adult day centers there. Different churches will be present. And so it's just a way to show different industries that might not always have a seat at the table when it comes to our health, show them how they can show up for caregivers as well. For instance, there's a hotel chain that will be featured. They are raffling off free nights stays for caregivers to have that time away, almost like a form of respite, so that caregivers can have a staycation, put their feet up and relax and take time for themselves. Caregiver burnout is a really big topic that a lot of families want more information on. You know, how do I prioritize myself? How do I take the time to, not neglect my own self-care, not always putting my loved one first, but to care about myself, because self-care is not selfish.
I'm a caregiver, so I understand the importance of nutrition, but why combine nutrition with caregiver support? What else do we have to have in that?
Nutrition can be one of the most overlooked forms of caregiving or self-care. Many times caregivers might not have time to prepare healthy meals or meal prep because they're focused on someone else's needs. When we make healthy food accessible, when we connect families with resources and teach those practical strategies that they can use immediately, we're helping to reduce stress while promoting healthier aging for the entire family.
So can you tell us a little bit about the Urban League Resource Fair that's coming up?
That is tomorrow, August 8th. I will be tabling at the resource fair. And I'll be there with a ton of different organizations, lots of different industries. And I think that resource fair is in partnership with, I know it's also a Greek picnic that happens every year too. So it's not one to miss for sure.
So what do you hope people discover when they visit the arts table?
If you've never visited my table before, this year we'll have a canopy, and it is an exhibit. It's an art exhibit in and of itself. I have so many posters up that showcase our services, programs, so many things to sign up for. I want folks to realize they don't have to wait until a dementia diagnosis to get involved. If you are a caregiver or you have family members impacted by dementia and you just want more information or you want to learn how not to get it, come by and see me. Caring for your own brain health, caring for a loved one, wanting to support folks in your community, we have resources available for all of the above. We'll be sharing information about upcoming programs, volunteer opportunities, caregiver education, staff training. You've heard Brenda describe it earlier. We do a lot. We do a lot at the ARC. And we'll have resources for kids. So I typically have like a creation corner in my under my tent, and it attracts kids because there's so many toys. There's all these tactile and sensory objects to engage with. And they're there to show caregivers, here are different activities you can do with your loved one who's living with dementia, but here's a way to get the grandkids involved. I'll have a socially assistive robot avatar that's there that kids love to engage and talk with, but it's a way to provide social support for your loved ones as well.
You have so many resources, but I don't think too many people know about this one. What is a memory cafe?
Ooh, a memory cafe it's like a social gathering. It's strictly for fellowship, fun activities. You can hire musicians and have sing-alongs. You can lead families through seated low impact exercises, but it's literally a group where caregivers can bring their loved ones living with dementia, and we all come together and we talk and we make friends and yeah, come together to socialize, learn, laugh, and build those partnerships, build community, build that social support circle around yourself so that your caregiving journey becomes that much easier and you realize you're not alone.
So I know your memory cafe is unique, and I've been to one memory cafe, and one of the things that seems to be prominent is music and food. So tell us about yours.
One, I want to say in the state of Washington, we have about 20
Well,
to 24.
hey, Janetta, let me kind of rephrase that.
Okay.
Is yours, I'm not going to say predominantly, but does it also cater to the needs of African Americans where a lot of them don't?
Yes, that is exactly the point I was going to make. There's about 20 to 25 memory cafes in the state of Washington listed in a directory. And from what I could tell, none of them are run by African Americans, and I'm not sure any of them are attended by African Americans. And so by starting my own, I could be one of the first. And as more and more churches hear about my memory cafe, they are interested in coming together to work together to offer this service to the community. And so, yeah, it's a way to continue providing culturally aligned and relevant services where the healthcare system as it exists now overlooks our community or might not tailor the services or resources to us. And so, yeah, that is exactly the plan. Start my own memory cafe and to fill that gap.
So what is ARC School, SKOOL community?
Our school community is an online forum or online platform home to several caregivers, professionals, students, researchers, and advocates where we can continue learning every day, not just during like our monthly events or outside of the health fairs or tabling events, but it's a way to come together online. It's a place to ask questions, share resources, attend workshops, hear guest speakers, and build relationships with folks who understand the caregiving journey.
I appreciate you have that because I have been in a hospital before and in the waiting room waiting to find out what's happening, whatever. And it would have been nice to be able to look up and see what resources, what questions should I be asking?
Exactly.
So, and that that website or so it's under school.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And can you give us the website for that?
Yes, I have a link. Yeah, I'll be able to send a link out that allows you to join my specific community directly.
Okay. What do you hope people remember after visiting the lemonade stand?
Ooh, just to come away with.
Oh, you know what though? I just thought of something. You've kind of talked about it, but I want to know what is it that's in dark leafy greens, blackberries that herb doctors are telling us to eat all the time? And is that something, and what not to eat? I was told not to eat spinach, especially if it's not cooked, and I eat a lot of salads. So I'm like, oh, okay, now I got to stop that.
So one component of dark leafy greens are, some of them can be high in oxalates, and that's usually the component that makes up a lot of kidney stones. So I think it's spinach. Collard greens might be low in oxalates, but there are some dark leafy greens where if you eat them, you want to make sure you drink a lot of water to flush your system. One way to detoxify our kidneys specifically is by consuming lemons and limes. So the lemonade is, again, there's another component to that where the whole base of it is a great way to flush out our system and break down oxalates that you can find in kidney stones.
So since your target seems to be organizations for dementia training, why did you pick them?
Ooh, For a few reasons. There are so many ways that providers engage with dementia caregivers, and they might not realize it. So let's say you are a nurse or CNA or a social worker. In some cases, caregivers are walking through so many doors. They're engaging with the healthcare system at so many different touch points. And that creates a lot of opportunities for different organizations and staff members and providers to, one, be more informed about dementia basics and foundations, but also be able to answer more questions if you are able to detect that someone might be a caregiver or someone might be living with memory loss. You'll be able to give the proper referrals to specialists as next steps for those families to take. For instance, some families will share, oh, well, we got a diagnosis, but after they told us what they thought our loved one had, they just walked out the room and didn't give us any more information. And so there are ways to equip even providers to be able to show up with those answers and referrals and more information on next steps so that families aren't just spinning in circles and not knowing what questions to ask, but to really fill those gaps in information, accessibility, and being connected to critical resources.
Well, unfortunately, my time is up, and I just want to say thank you, Doctor, and you will be back on again. And we want to remind everyone to come out to your event tomorrow. What time does it start?
Oh, Lord, that one, the Urban League Resource Fair, I believe it's from like 10 to 5. It's all day.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you to my MC class for the use of his music, Ragtime. Have a great weekend. Be safe and live your life like it's golden. I'll see you this weekend, Dr. Janetta.
All right. Looking forward to it.